Welcome back to All the Crackers in the Box. So, I have been working really hard on this circular poncho for my daughter. It is a smaller size than I would wear, so it's a lot less. However, I'll go over, because I was asked very nicely. They didn't understand my project, and that's okay. It's a different project, that is for sure. So, in the back here, we have our focal point. We have this round design. So I'm going to stick my fingers through here. We have this round design. It goes round and around and around. And once it got to a certain point, I went with 11 inches because she needs about 14 for her shoulders. So 11 inches wide, give or take. And then we chained enough at the top for a neck hole. Now since then, we have been doing chained rounds all the way around the whole thing, around and around and around. And this ends up making a long back with a shorter front. So you got that high-low piece there. This piece is going to be shorter. It's already almost at midriff on her. So I'm almost at where I want to be. I am going to do a trim either with this or a little more of this because I do have a ball left. And it's flying along and going around really well. So I'm going to start a fancier one in smaller and more intricate design for the back for me and see how this goes. I'm super pumped you're here. Hi. So, we are going through the mindless fun chaining. Now this is great because you can just do this while you're watching TV and it's pretty straightforward. I did somehow mess up a chain the other night. I was really tired. And the movie I was watching was getting pretty intense. So, that'll happen. I just had to go back relatively and fix it. So this one's going to be more of a winter one. It's quite chunky. I'm using a size 9. And I'm quite happy with how it's working out. It's a fun project because I saw one and I was really intrigued with how, why, how to make that, what kind of back can we do. So I started looking at some of my magazines we have. I have quite a few vintage, I say vintage, like from the 90s and earlier, crochet magazines in the closet behind me. That closet's huge. I could make that into like a studio crafting area if I didn't want to hang up clothes. So it is a good place to store some of my materials for what I need at a site, not bothering anybody, not in anyone's way, and I can shut the door. And then I don't get bothered about what I have. Because I do keep my materials for like lining bags and other stuff I need to do. Patches on these. I don't have to go buy material every time I need to do something. So I have 2 totes worth. So it's not like a ton, but enough. And I say that because my mom and grandmother growing up had a massive amount of material to the point where we shouldn't have had to go buy material. But they were frequent customers at the local fabric land, if you know what I mean. Like hours and hours. But they loved it. They loved sewing, so who am I to say anything? I just had to share my rec room with a corner that was lifted off the floor on plywood and 30 to 40 boxes, maybe about 30, give or take, with a row between, stacked up like 4 to 5 up, of all sorts of colors. Everything was marked, everything was folded, everything was well taken care of. It wasn't like ever infested or anything like that. It was definitely, and gone through constantly. Somebody was always looking for something. A piece of lace, a piece of bread, a piece of that. I have so many cute Barbie clothes and fun outfits that were made for us as we grew up. And quilts. Lots and lots of quilts. My grandmother loved to make scrap quilts. I have one of hers. And sadly, a lot of the materials on it have disintegrated over the years. So, those darn synthetic materials will eventually. My beautiful one that my aunt made me, and I've got one material that has already decided that it just gave up the ghost, and so I may have to do a little patchwork. Let's not tell her. I don't think she watches my channel. I don't think she has any clue. So, if you are watching, I'll fix it and I'll make it look pretty. Because I love my quilt. It's a king size quilt and she made it and it's beautiful. I love her work. She's made a quilt for each one of my children and they are just getting more and more beautiful. As the years have gone by, she's now doing like fancy filigree stitching. If you look closely, there's little designs of like bumblebees and hearts, and oh, I love them so much. And they are the most warmest, most snuggliest blankets I've ever used. So I will just say my aunt is very talented with her quilting, and I'm very proud of her work. My bed's not my bed without the quilt. Even in the middle of summer, we have the quilt on there. Mine has a lot of white on it, so that's dangerous with kids on my bed. But that's okay. It's getting well loved and well used. So, like I said, just go round and round. At first I didn't think this 3 count was going to work, and now that I'm actually doing the 3 count, it is working. It's working quite nicely, actually. I'm trying to figure out, I think I'm going to have to get nylon cord for it, though. I want to make a net for my daughter's stuffed animals. They're taking over. They do not want to get rid of any, but there's just way too many, and they're constantly finding more. I'm making amigurumis because that's what they're asking for. I got a couple gifts I gotta start doing up for people's birthdays. Interesting request from one of my daughter's friends. She's hoping I could make her a crochet Cabbage Patch doll. I don't know about that. She'll mind that the face isn't hard. I'm not so sure I want to do that, but yeah, we shall see what happens. I'm not saying yay or nay. My daughter's also requested the cat from Sailor Moon, and for some reason that seems to be a character that is really not easy to find. So I'm gonna take a peek around and do a little more research. I found some decent ones on YouTube that might work, but it's not exactly what she wanted. She wanted something a little more posable, but we'll see. We'll see what I can come up with, because I could always just adjust another cat, so I'm saving as much as I can to compare and see what I can come up with in between all my other stuff that I do, including organizing. I'm getting there. I promise. Soon enough, this will be very nice and organized. and my workstation is going to be a lot easier for me to access and use. 1, 2, 1. I got distracted thinking about how nice it will look. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. I would kind of like to close my desk sometimes. There's a bit of clutter in there that I'd like to just close up on, and I don't have to worry about the hinges on it. The hinges are getting a little bit iffy, so I got to get to fixing this as well, which is replacing hardware. I've been looking for a piece of wood that's missing off it, and I don't think it's here anymore, so I may have to come up with something. I don't know. A piece of wood popped out of the big panel in the front, and I'm going to have to see what I can do. I love the desk, don't get me wrong, so it is worth refurbishing, it's worth redoing, it is worth all of that. If not, I'm thinking about maybe going to talk to somebody around town that does make wooden furniture and see if they can take the medallion off of it and just make me something new for the front. As much as I hate doing that, because it is a quality piece, it's just the years and years of use and being stored for years has really taken its toll on some of it. I need to find a place to do some woodworking. I know that sounds really crazy on top of my crochet and every other thing I do, but I would like to, my dining table and chairs really need to be spruced up. Not only do I need to fix the seats, I put new foam because it's disintegrated and the kids have picked at it. The wood on it has become scratched and worn. My table, the varnish is really peeling off. You can see the pine under it in quite a few spots. And to be honest, I am really actually quite tired of my dining room being so dark. My shelves, my really fun, young, they're very modern. They are quite black. They are funky shapes. They're really dark on the wall. And my kitchen has some very, 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 very dark cabinets. So there is not a lot of bright light, so they absorb all the light in the room. We have a window, which is amazing in an apartment condo deal. We have a window. We have our patio door, and then this wall here has a window. It's still dark in there. So I'm thinking of stressing, because I've got kids. It's just going to be a mess all the time. I know that. I'm just thinking about maybe painting it like a white and letting it be distressed. So if it gets marks, it's not so bad. I know it's going to get dirty and all that. My husband's like, oh, it's going to show all the dirt. I'm like, however, we're damaging the wood by letting it sitting there open like that and still using it every day, all day. My kitchen table and chairs are the main hub of the house. They are where we all meet constantly. My mom and I will sit there and we'll drink our coffee and we will color with the kids. We'll do our stuff. My mom sits there quite often, plays around her phone, just watches TV from there. I want the chairs to be a lot more comfortable than they are. They're very uncomfortable. I'm sitting on one right now, and it is not very comfortable. This one in particular I pulled out because there's a staple that pokes you if you don't sit on it properly. I have two of them that do that, so I've had to take them and put them to the side. So they are nicely made in every other aspect. The design on them is really nice. I do have to tighten these little round pieces that spin, because the kids are always spinning them. So I'd like them to stay where they are. So I'm going to have to probably glue them and clamp them. So like I said, I need a little space because doing this kind of stuff in an apartment is not really welcomed. So I'll figure out something. Because I don't think it would take me more than like a weekend or more to just sand them down a little and paint them. It does not have to be sanded all the way. I don't want it to be all the way down. I do want a little bit of roughness to it and some texturing, and you know what I mean. But I do not have a place to do that right now, so that is on my long-term goals. If I can get the sitting area feeling a little bit more seaty, as in comfortable, that would be wonderful. So I'm on the lookout for big pieces of foam, and then I can do it. I have my big staple gun ready. Lots of staples. Lots and lots of staples. I've been preparing for a little while. Slowly but surely grabbing a piece here, grabbing a piece there. But upholstery fabric is definitely going to be a must, but I do want to do what my daughter was asking for. She really wants me to do multicolored with mostly brights. Well, depending on the person, to try to do them for each person in the house to suit them. A nice cover for the seat in granny squares with nice scrap yarn. So I really like that idea. I do. I think that's very cute. I think that's very us. I think that it's going to make the chairs quite comfortable. I am considering doing back cushions. But like I said, we sit there a lot. Everybody in the house enjoys the chairs. They are definitely one of our most well-used, well-loved pieces of furniture. Even more than the couches, if you could believe that. Beds are number one, though. We all love our beds. We just like to be comfortable. Anyways, I think I'm getting close to the end of this, and we're going to start looking at the trim. I keep saying I think I'm close, but I'd like it to be really oversized on her so it'll last a little bit longer than one season. Anyways, thanks for joining me here at All the Crackers in the Box. I'll see you again very soon. Bye!